Hello. Hello, my culture heads. How y'all doing? It's your girl, Pop Culture Goddess. And word on the curb is Tory Lanez is fighting for his life as well as a new trial. And he put a couple messages on his Instagram that I'll go through and listen to with y'all, as well as let me just get into this right here. Okay, let's get into this. On a matter of fact, don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button and comment below, y'all. Now let's get all up into this. Let me make sure I put my little disclaimer up because I don't want no drama. Okay, there you go. Put that up right there and hit the little intro, and we gonna get into this. Tory Lanez is set to appear in a Los Angeles courtroom on today, where his attorneys are expected to argue for a new trial for the rapper, who was convicted in December 2022 of felony assault in the shooting of fellow hip hop star Megan Thee Stallion. Tory Lanez's attorneys, Jose and Matthew, filed a motion for a new trial in March, arguing in part that certain evidence presented at trial and some statements made by witnesses on the stand were prejudicial to their client, including an Instagram post where Lane's verified account commented on the case and a photo of Lane's gun tattoo. The motion, which was obtained by an ABC News report media group, also takes issue with the forensic testing and claims that Lane's right to counsel of his choice was violated. Mm-hmm. The Los Angeles County District Attorney Office, which is prosecuting the case, filed a motion on April 6, asking the judge to deny the defense request for a new trial. Prosecutors are set to argue against the motion for a new trial during the hearing on Monday. The judge in the okay, sorry. The judge indicated during a April 17th hearing that if the motion for a new trial is denied, the rapper will be sentenced within 30 days of Monday's hearing. So, like if you do this, it's gonna come with some consequences here. Okay. Tory Lanez, whose legal name is Daystar Peterson, was convicted on December 23rd, 2022 for powwowing and injuring Megan Thee Stallion, whose legal name is Megan Pete, in an incident in the Hollywood Hills on July 12, 2020. The rapper is facing up to 22 years and 8 months in prison. He's initially set to be sentenced in January, but the sentence had been delayed several times after he had to obtain new lawyers, y'all. Lanez was found guilty by a jury on all 3 felony counts filed against him: assault with a semi-automatic firearm, personal use of a firearm, carrying a loaded unregistered firearm in a vehicle, and discharging a firearm with gross negligence. Lanez, who chose not to take the witness stand, pleaded not guilty during the trial, and his defense team argued that he was not, in fact, the shooter. Now, Megan Thee Stallion opens up about Tory Lanez's trial being in a dark place and healing. The case sparked intense debate over society's treatment of women, and Pete's account of the incident and the intense public barrage that she faced after sharing her story has spotlighted the Protect Black Women movement, which addressed the two front battles of sexism and racism Black women experience in their own communities and in society at large. Pete, who testified during the trial and named Tory Lanez as her shooter, broke her silence on the shooting following the trial in an interview for her May 2023 Elle magazine cover story. "I don't want to call myself a victim," she said. "As I reflect on the past 3 years. I view myself as a survivor because I have truly survived the unimaginable. Not only did I survive being shot by someone I trusted and considered a close friend, but I overcame the public humiliation of having my name, reputation dragged through the mud by that individual for the entire world to see. Now let's get into the stuff that Tory is posting up on his page, Insta recently. Let's see. Okay, so dear George Cone, I write this message with the utmost humility, love, and respect for the remarkable stance you've taken in regards to fighting for the justice of Black and Brown minorities. Today, I take a stance as an innocent Black man wrongfully convicted of a crime I did not commit. I've watched two district attorneys from your office by the name of, I ain't gonna say their name, unlawfully misuse their authority to hide and suppress any and all evidence that exonerates me or furthers my innocence. I was completely robbed and deprived of a fair trial. On May 8th, my lawyers will be arguing a motion for a new trial. This is happening all today, y'all. Not only do I owe it to myself to fight for my freedom, but I owe it to my 6-year-old child, my family, fans, and most importantly, the hundreds of thousands of Black and Hispanic minorities that cannot adequately fight for themselves. For 3 years, the prosecution has manipulated a false narrative that has left me with no choice but to expose and make aware the practices, the behind the door deals, and the unjust system used to illegally convict me and countless other minorities. We elected you because of your outstanding eminence in making fair and correct judgment in the justice of people of color. So, Mr. Gascon, I come to you today as a wrongfully convicted man, not asking for sympathy nor compassion, but for you to simply do what is fair and right by the laws of the California, and most importantly, in the eyes of God. So this is what he posted 2 weeks ago, and says, until my court date, I'll be posting the outrageous and disgusting injustices used against me by the prosecution to get conviction they so desperately wanted, despite the evidence they knew existed.
The year over a gun that the DAs lied and said I shot. In 2021, they demanded I take a DNA test. I took that test with no pushback, delay, or question. Not only because I knew I never shot the gun, but mainly because I was 100% positive I never even touched this gun. In my trial, the verdict of guilty or innocent depended heavily on my DNA results. With the help of LA Crime Lab's DNA expert Randy Zepeda, DA Kathy Tarr, and Alex Bott completely manipulated my DNA results and lied to the world, the media, and most importantly, my jury by stating my DNA on the gun was inconclusive. That was an absolute lie. They went on further to say inconclusive means that he cannot be excluded from the gun. My new attorney, Jose Baez, hired one of the best DNA experts in the nation to carefully analyze the same DNA test the fair and correct way. The results came back exactly as I knew this whole time. My DNA is 100% excluded and 100% eliminated from the gun. In other words, it's physically and scientifically impossible for me to ever have touched or shot this gun. After the correct and careful analyzation of my DNA testing, not only did our expert find my DNA 100% excluded and non-existent on the gun, but what's worse was the invalid and illegal tactics the prosecution chose to attain the results used to convict me. Based on the fundamentals of my DNA test, the only possible way for the LA Crime Lab to come up with an inconclusive result would literally be to stop the testing before it finished or completed its final result, which would have and should have shown completely my full exclusion on the weapon. In other words, District Attorneys Kathy Tarr and Alex Bott lied to my jury with false, incorrect, and incomplete DNA results, violating my due process and my 14th Amendment rights. My faith, my prayers, and my highest hopes go to the Honorable Judge Hereford that on May 8th, he rules in favor of the United States Supreme Court law, returning me to my freedom, my family, and most importantly, the justice of a fair trial. I've been incarcerated for almost half a year over a gun that the DAs lied and said I shot. In 2021, they demanded I take a DNA test. I took that test with no pushback, delay, or question. Not only because I knew I never shot the gun, but mainly because I was 100% positive I never even touched this gun. In my trial, the verdict of guilty or innocent depended heavily on my DNA results. With the help of LA Crime Lab's DNA expert Randy Zepeda, DA Kathy Tarr and Alex Bott completely manipulated my DNA results and lied to the world, the media, and most importantly, my jury, by stating my DNA on the gun was inconclusive. That was an absolute lie. They went on further to say, inconclusive means that he cannot be excluded from the gun. My new attorney, Jose Baez, hired one of the best DNA experts in the nation to carefully analyze the same DNA test the fair and correct way.
So what do you think of this? I think there's another one. Is there another one?
Dear George Gascon, I write this message with the utmost humility, love, and respect for the remarkable steps that you've taken in regards to fighting for the justice of Black and brown minorities. Today I take a stance as an innocent Black man, wrongfully convicted of a crime I did not commit. I've watched two district attorneys from your office by the names of Kathy Tarr and Alex Bott unlawfully misuse their authority to hide and suppress any and all exculpatory evidence that exonerates me and furthers my innocence. I was completely robbed and deprived of a fair trial. So on May 8th, my lawyers will be arguing a motion for a new trial. Not only do I owe it to myself to fight for my freedom, but I owe it to my 6-year-old child, my family, my fans, and most importantly, the hundreds and thousands of Black and Hispanic minorities that cannot adequately fight for themselves. For 3 years, the prosecution has manipulated a false narrative that has left me with no choice but to expose the practices, the behind-door deals.
So my thing is, okay, there's a comment in here that I wanted.
Dear George Gascon.
Pause. There's a comment, and it says, bro, this is the time, okay? Bro, this is a time where it is okay to snitch. If you didn't do it, then tell who did. Otherwise, you did it. So, who did it? Who did it? That's the question. Who did it? Who pulled the trigger? Because gun fragments, the bullet fragments was found in her foot. So who did it? Tory, you had a choice. Who did it? Seriously, at this point, who did it? That's the simple question. Y'all comment below and tell me what y'all think. Like, who do y'all think did this? Who shot Megan in the foot? Who did it? Who's responsible? Who is? Who's responsible for Megan's injuries? Is it Kelsey? Is Tory protecting Kelsey? Who is he protecting? Is it a guard? Is it a bodyguard? Who is he protecting? Who did it? Megan is clearly saying, and always been consistently saying, that it is him. He's the one on audio apologizing, telling Kelsey to tell Megan that he is sorry. So who did it? Who's responsible? Y'all comment below and tell me what y'all think, okay? Because I tell you at this point, y'all, I don't know who's responsible for what, but I don't know. Do you think he's going to get another chance at another trial? Or do you think it's pretty much a wrap for Tory? Because Tory has a history of violence. Look what he did to August Alsina. He busted up that dude's lip. So, I don't know. Child, I don't know. I guess we just going to find out at the end of the day what happens to Tory.